Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Smurfy and today, as you can already tell, we are back on the blue-red Prowess deck. The reason that we're back on it, first of all, is because it was so much fun the first time around. We got to play the new Iconoclast, which is the upgraded version of Young Pyromancer. You guys seem to absolutely love that video. The amount of views I got on that video is by far the best I've ever had. I think I got like over 1,000 views in the first day, which is insane for such a small channel like my own. So anyway, we're back at the same deck. The only difference is we are trying out Sprite Dragon over Iconoclast. So Iconoclast is really good at going wide. You can build up a bunch of different tokens, and just go really wide against your opponent. No matter how many blockers they make, you can probably make more tokens. However, instead today we are playing the Sprite Dragon version, which instead of making loads and loads of creatures, just makes one huge creature. So it's flying, it's got haste, and it gets really big, really quick. So super excited to play with Sprite Dragon. It's definitely a really sweet card, and I can't wait to get some games in. I appreciate that some people do not necessarily know the deck or they like deck text, so I will go over the deck real quick first. The deck is basically you play Soul Scar Mage and Monastery Swiftspear, which are both Prowess creatures, and Sprite Dragon, which is kind of like a Prowess creature but better. And you also play Dragon's Rage Channeler, which is kind of like an honorary. It's in the same ballpark as Prowess. You then fill your deck up with really cheap, mana efficient cards. So things like Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart, because you can cast 2 spells for 1 mana from Lava Dart, Mutagenic Growth, things like that. And what you aim to do is cast a load of spells really quickly, make your dudes absolutely huge, and then just completely kill them. You do have a couple of ways to get more card advantage. So the main one being Expressive Iteration. Probably the best card advantage spell in Modern at the moment. But you also get Underworld Breach as well. So Underworld Breach pretty much allows you to cast like 3 or 4 cards from your graveyard. But often it will just win you the game the turn it comes into play. Other than that, we are playing Light Up the Stage. You sometimes get into sticky situations where you need to draw more cards. You can do things like bolt your opponent and light up the stage. But generally we're looking to do this post-combat after we've hit them with a Sprite Dragon or something. In the sideboard, being that you're playing blue, you do get access to one of the best cards in Modern at the moment, which is actually Flusterstorm. Really good against all those pesky Rhino decks going around. Your opponent cascades into it, and all of a sudden they have to pay some mana. Playing Foreshattering Spree, just really good at what it does. You don't have access to green, so Enchantment Hate isn't as easy, or white. We are playing Vapor Snag as well, just good at bouncing your opponent's stuff and getting in the red zone again, getting rid of blockers out of the way, same with Unholy Heat. And we do have a Gigantha. I think that it may come up maybe once in 5 or 6 leagues that you have a Gigantha. I don't think it's going to be a very relevant card, but it's kind of a freebie, and the deck is so lean that you really do struggle to cut cards to sideboard. So I think a 15 card slot instead of Gigantha wouldn't be a huge impacting factor anyway. It's just really hard to fit cards in the deck. Anyway, that is enough talking. Let's get into some games, because Sprite Dragon is a sweet card. Okay guys, sweet, we are on the play. Let's go ahead and reveal our companion. Not that it really matters. What do we got? Swiftspear. Yeah, this hand looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and keep. One creature is a bit scary, but it survives Bolt or Unholy Heat, just due to the fact that we have the Mutagenic Growth. So I feel a little bit more safe with it in hand. So we're just going to go ahead and fetch and Swiftspear here. We'll go ahead and play the Bauble, but I don't think we're going to crack it just yet. We'll wait until next turn when we have the option to shuffle it away. But we might as well crack in for the damage. You do get very good card selection with using fetches and non-fetches with a Bauble, but I think turn 1 we do want to just get the Swiftspear in and get the Prowess trigger as well. And we'll go from there, because I think that you could do it the other way around and then decide to shock instead, but this looks fine. Okay, so we draw a mountain, not ideal. Let's go ahead and see what we've got next on top. What's it going to be? Opponent is thinking about responding. I don't know what they could respond with. It's not really anything, unless it's like Dismember. That'd be a crazy turn 1 play, Dismember, paying the 4 life. Especially as our creature would survive with this Mutagenic Growth in hand. Oh, I think they've gone AFK or something. Well, in the meantime, whilst we wait for our opponent to go grab a packet of crisps or whatever they've got to do, if you do want to see more modern content, please feel free to subscribe. The feedback that I've had so far is that Blue-Red Prowess is a very popular deck at the moment, both to play against, but also people really enjoy watching it. I've seen quite a few content creators have made videos on it, and watching them play it just made me really want to play it. So yeah. Do we want to draw another bauble? I don't really think we do, so we're going to go ahead and fetch. Waiting for our opponent again, see if they've got any shenanigans. We'll just go ahead and get a mountain. There's no reason to shock. Really weak turn 2, unfortunately, because we've drawn the land. I don't think there's any reason to bolt our opponent here. We'll just pass the turn back. If they play a blocker or something, we can always bolt that instead of going face. We draw another land. Okay, this is going to be very difficult to win a game if we just draw lands. I guess we did get a little greedy by getting rid of the bauble, but it didn't really do much for us. Okay, so our opponent's Urza Saga ticks up to 2. What is our opponent on where they go turn 1 Saga? That to me suggests Hammer Time. Hammer Time is one of the very few decks where you slam a Urza Saga on turn 1. Or it could be Hardened Scales. That's another deck that can do it. Ah, here we go. Sprite Dragon off the top. Perfect. So let's go ahead, pay 2 mana, play our nifty little Sprite Dragon. And how much damage could we deal this turn? 1, 2, plus the bolt is 5, plus the 2 triggers would be 7. Mutagenic Growth would be to 9, 10, 11. We could put our opponent to 6 here, but I think we're just going to attack for 2 and save that for next turn. Again, like this deck is very, very easily ran out of gas until you draw a Light Up the Stage or an Expressive Iteration, and then all of a sudden you have plenty more gas. So like it may look pretty dire at the moment with how many lands we've drawn, but you can easily just chain a couple of draw spells and be completely back in it. Especially being on the play, I think that's given us a huge edge. I'm really not sure what is better to play, the Sprite Dragon or the Ironclast. Now that we know they're not red, I think we're just going to growth now. Yeah, I think it's worth just growthing now. It gets more damage in. It gets the counter on the Sprite Dragon, so we're going to get repeat extra damage from it. And then we'll just pass the turn. Okay, so the Urza Saga is going to trigger now, so they can go ahead and get a artifact. I'm expecting something like a Oh my god, the amulet. Okay. Did not expect them to be on amulet. Any spell in our deck pretty much kills our opponent here. Oh god. Okay, so they're Summoning Pact, or Summoner's Pact, get a Zeusa. If they have a Prime Time, we're just dead here, right? So that triggers. So they play a Zeusa. Sure. Now they play their bounce land again. I think we're just going to bolt a Zeusa. Then they'll go up to 3 mana. Nope, they just don't have it anyway. Okay, we could have bolted a Zeusa when they played their second bounce land, because that's the soonest we get priority. Then they would go up to 3 mana, but then we bolt this and then they don't get to go up to 5, so... Okay. On to sideboarding. What do we want against an opponent on Amulet? Probably want Vapor Snag. Just bounce their Azusas, bounce their 2/4s, even bounce their Prime Times. And I assume we want some amount of Shattering Sprees. How many? I do not know. Probably 2. They're only playing... Oh, they will be playing a couple of tutor targets for their Urza's land, but I'm pretty sure they're always going to get the Amulet of Vigor unless they need the life gain from a Shadow Spear. I think we'll bring in 2. I think any more and we could just end up with a handful of them and nothing else. And what we don't need... 5 cards. So Gut Shot I think we can cut quite easily. Breach I think is fine. Mutagenic Growth helps us get through their 0/3 blocker, Dryad. Arbor, I can never remember the name of it. The one drop that lets them play a land. Alright, we'll cut the Underworld Breach and maybe light up the stage because it might be hard to connect to hit our opponent. And then... screw it, we'll get rid of some Mutagenic Growths. They're not playing Bolt. So we'll go ahead and do that. We could play Flusterstorm if we really wanted to, but it doesn't hit Primeval Titan, so kind of puts me off. We will reveal our Gigantha, that again probably won't have any impact. What do we got? Turn 1, Swift Spear or Channeler. Turn 2, 2 more dudes. Yeah, we'll keep this. We've got a very powerful turn 3. Yeah, okay, so our opponent is getting their turn 3 Amulet again. Soulscar Mage. I think we want to play the Channeler this turn. I don't know how easily or what the reliability is of them winning on turn 3. Oh my god, with double. That might look really strong, but I actually don't think it is because it means they have no green mana. And we've just drawn every creature possible. Would have rather have two spells, but here's what it is. Let's just go Swift Spear and Swift Spear. We shouldn't need any more creatures to win, so I'm hoping we're not actually going to end up casting these Soulscar Mages. Instead, we should just go like Manamorphose, Expressive Iteration, maybe like one other spell, and that should be enough if they don't make a blocker. Oh, they're making a dude here? They don't have the mana to, so... Okay, well they're going to get their Amulet of Vigor, and they're going to need a bounce land plus... Oh, they've got their other... They've naturally drawn one as well. Well, that's 4 mana. So now they're up to 5 with the Urza Saga. So if they've got anything that gives them an extra land drop, they can now prime time. Oh my god, this deck is so explosive. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, so you can get Primeval Titan. Double Vigor is just absurd. Summoner's Pact. So they get Primeval Titan, ETBs. They get the one that gives haste and the land that goes... Oh, they've gone for Cultivator Colossus. Okay. So when ETBs, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now they've got 9 lands come in. So they're going to get 1, 2, 3, so it'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, they've got about 30 mana. I have no idea what they're doing with it, but they have 30 mana. Are they going to cast a Primeval Titan as well? This deck is absurd. I'm so glad I don't have to keep track of this in paper, because this would be a nightmare. let's just yield until end step. If they've got it, they've got it. No, it's not worth us trying to pretend we have something. I think it's pretty clear that we wouldn't have anything. Oh yeah, you can see them adding up all their mana there. So what's happening is one amulet trigger resolves, they get 2 mana. The other one resolves, it untaps it again, so you can tap it again for 2 more mana. So basically these tap for 2, but they untap twice. So you get 4 mana, 4 mana, 4 mana, 2, 4, 4, 4, 2, 2. So they're going to end up with a ridiculous amount of mana. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 6 is 12, 24, 26, 28, 29, 30. About 30 mana, yeah. Oh, I think they already had some in the pool as well. This is absolute madness. What could they possibly want to do with all this mana? Are they just going to now get a prime time? They've got 10 cards in hand. This is absolutely ridiculous. Another one? Sure. Expedition map, yeah. Oh, sure. Now they're going to go get something that gives it haste. Well, that doesn't really matter. Teleria West, okay. So now they go get Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact goes and gets Primetime ETBs. They then get a land that gives it haste, and a land that gives it the mana for haste or something, and then the other one gives double strike and +2/+0. So that's 6, 7, 8, 8, 8, 16. I don't know how they get the extra 2. Do both lands give them +2 power on the prime time? They must do. Yeah, so this one gives a target creature +2/+0 and haste and vigilance, and then after this they attack. Primeval Titan triggers again to get 2 more lands out of the deck. They get another one that gives it double strike, and I assume it gives it +2/+0 as well. But I'm just going to find out because I don't actually know. Maybe they could have even drawn it. Oh no, they wouldn't have, because they would have just put it into play with the Cultivator Colossus, wouldn't they? Oh no, they can just go get to wait, 1, 2, 3. No, they don't have enough mountains to go get Valakuts and kill us that way. Oh sure, they can activate this twice to give it +2/+0 twice. So now they attack and just give it double strike, assuming that they haven't drawn it. So they put everything back in their deck. Make a construct, sure. So trigger prime time. Now, as long as they don't have the other land that gives double strike in their hand, then they kill us. If they've drawn it, then obviously they don't kill us. Yeah, I think they've actually drawn somehow the double strike one. I still think we lose, obviously. I don't know how you compete with getting 40 mana on turn 3. Cool. He hits for 6. Sorry, for 10. We go down to 8. And can we win? I don't think so. We would have to draw some Vapor Snags, I think. They've got 1, 2, 3 dudes with reach. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. Let's just go Manamorphose, Surveil. You know what? No, let's just go to the next one. I don't even know why I'm bothering. What would we have seen on top? There's 1 Vapor Snag. Not enough. The problem is I don't think Flusterstorm does enough. I think we just have to be more proactive and aggressive. If that's the case, do we want these mutagenic growths? No, I don't think so. Maybe we cut an iteration. Iteration might just be too slow in this matchup. Alright, let's give that a go. So we definitely need to go first. Yeah, we'll get our companion out. And what do we got? One creature, one land. No, that is not the one for us. Okay, this is a little bit better. We'll go ahead, put back a fetch. We'll lead off with a Soulscar Mage and see what our opponent is going to do this time. Hopefully they don't lead off with an Urza Saga again. They do have essentially 8 copies of Urza Saga now. Sorry, 8 copies of Amulet because of the 4 Urza Sagas. Okay, sweet. Engineered explosives on 1. Okay. So let's go Arid Mesa. I guess we just play another Soulscar Mage and swing with 1 just to make them blow up the EE. I think that's what we're going to have to do. That's really annoying. Yeah, that slows us down a lot here because now next turn we can't invest all our spells into our creatures because they're going to blow up, but it also means that we can't let them blow up and then attack with Swiss Spear because obviously they're going to do it at combat, so we kind of miss a combat phase. We'll go ahead and fetch. It could have been better not to do that in case we draw a Bauble, but I don't think it makes too much of a difference. No, because we're probably going to Iteration anyway. Do we Vapor Snag our own dude? I don't think so. Yeah, we're just going to Iteration. We need to do something with our mana that's productive because these are both going to die anyway, and we also need to apply enough pressure where they have to activate this. Put 1 card into your hand. This is frustrating because we don't have our next land drop. I think we kind of want the... Do we want the bolt? If we take the bolt, we can kill a prime time. One's the bottom of your library, probably Manamorphose, and we lose the Darcy. They don't need to blow this up just yet, which is concerning because what they can do is just leave it and do it next turn, but this does mean they just don't do anything with their mana. Oh, they're just doing it now. I swear they just took the they did just take the damage, right? Now they're paying 2 mana and playing a Cavern. Oh, okay, so they're going to play their 2/4 here, which is a great target for Vapor Snag because it slows them down quite a bit. Oh, that was a good draw as well. So we can go land, play our Swift Spear. Now, do we want to bolt this, or do we want to Vapor Snag and double bolt their prime time? I think we just swing and see what they do, because we've got 3, 6, 9 damage potentially. Oh, this is really hard to race a deck that's so fast. I think we attack and offer them to block, and if they block, we'll just bolt it. We really don't want to be using bolts here, but I think we kind of have to. So now they can go get their Titan. Sorry, their Amulet. Yep. So this gives them 2 mana. They go up to 5. And they cast, oh, 6, sorry, a Primetime, sure. This doesn't look as bad as it is, because they're probably going to give this haste, and if they give it haste, we just bounce it. They don't get the second trigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they can cast it again next turn. So now they target their Primetime. And we just bounce it. It's a shame that we miss out on the Prowess trigger, but this does buy us a little bit of time to try and get our opponent dead quicker than they can do anything. Oh, we should have let that resolve first as well. That's my mistake. Tarn is not what we wanted, so let's just go ahead and draw. And alright, we draw Steam Vents. Let's go ahead. Play that tapped. Hit our opponent for 1. Now they can play a Primetime, but they can't give it haste as well unless they can somehow have 2 land drops. Okay, so they play Bajuka Bog. Shuffle their graveyard back into their deck. Or are they going to target? Oh, they're targeting us. Okay, sure. They're just going to play a Primetime. Yep, get 2 more lands. We're going to need another Vapor Snag to ever win this game. Don't know what they're going to get though. Sure, okay. So they're going to go for making another blocker. At least not this time, for next turn, sorry. God, this is a hard matchup. I don't know if it's just we've been unlucky. I mean, we have flooded, but the staying power of Primetime is really good now. Just because they put as a Saga with more copies of Amulet of Vigor. Summoner's Pact, sure. Are they gonna get a Zeusa? Oh, nice, okay. So now that triggers. I think we just bolt the Azusa, right? Otherwise they can give this haste. And then we yield through turn. Yeah, you have to do this because otherwise they can play another land, then give the Primetime haste. So that's the only time we have an opportunity to do that. So Vapor Snag or we're in trouble. Yep. Well, that's that. See what we can do this game. Let's reveal our companion. And it looks like our opponent's on the play. What have we got? A Swissbeard and a Sprite Dragon. Very nice. We'll go ahead and keep this. Opponent leads off with a artifact land. Okay. Let's just move our companion up here. And is there anything in particular we want to lead on? Probably the Dragon's Rage Channeler. And then we'll pass the turn. You don't see very many artifact lands. Oh, they are a land destruction deck. You don't play indestructible lands and flagstones in your deck unless you are doing some very, very dodgy land things. Well, let's go fetch a Steam Vents or Shock. And we will Sprite Dragon here. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have removal for this. Sweet. I would imagine they would have used it by now. Yeah, there's a bunch of different cards that say like each player sacrifices a land and then they target this, or they sacrifice that land so they go get a plains. So then it's just essentially we blow up a land and they don't. There's also reasons to play the indestructible ones because there's 2 mana, destroy a land, and they draw a card and get a land out their deck. So if you do it with that, it's essentially 2 mana, get a land out your deck and draw a card. 3 mana. What are they doing with 3 mana? Prismatic Ending. Sure. Fortunately, we've got another creature. We're running very low on creatures at this point, though. Iteration's a fantastic draw. I think what we want to do is Swift Spear, bolt them, light up the stage. So we'll go ahead and fetch. Because we're playing against a deck that I think could be land destruction, I'm going to go get another Steam Vents. We'll go Swift Spear. Bolt the opponent. We're doing this main phase because I want to trigger the light up the stage, but I also want to trigger the prowess. So we could do post combat, but I think we're better off doing it this way around. The only way this gets punished is if we draw a 1-drop creature that we could have played instead of the bolt and done this post combat, but we'd have missed out on damage. So, oh, that was nice. We drew a Mishra's Bauble as well, so we're going to trigger there as well. And we get a nice bit of damage in here. And then next turn we can bauble ourselves, see if we want to crack this fetch land. Actually, yes, we don't have it. No, that is fine, yeah. We've got Iteration, so we've got plenty more cards coming. Opponent is playing Cascading Cataracts, which is just another indestructible land. They are 100% playing a land destruction deck. I don't know what cards exactly, but you don't play these cards unless you're doing something very, very strange with lands. I think it's a bit slow to have land destruction. Destroy target land you control on land you don't control yet. So as I said, they're flagstone triggers, which means they go get a plains out the deck and put it into play tapped. So it's essentially just 2 mana, blow up one of your opponent's lands. And then we're going to go untap and draw. We will bauble ourselves. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay, I think we're happy to get the Dragon's Rage Channeler. So what we're going to do is pay to Iteration. We are going to exile the Darcy, I think. Oh, 1 into our hand. We'll go with the next Iteration. 1 to the bottom of your library. And then... Okay, so now we can go Arid Mesa, fetch another Steam Vents? No, we're at Steam Vents now, but that's fine. We'll play our Dragon's Rage Channeler. We've got Delirium, so this is a nice big 3/3 for 1 mana. Hit our opponent for 2, and I think we're looking pretty good now. Because land destruction decks are very, very clunky. If they have a Fury, that would be good. But they can still only get 1 of the 2 because we've got Delirium. Oh yeah, we draw from Bauble, that's nice. Another Bauble. Our opponent's going to need some sort of Anger of the Gods here. Brothers War. Oh, okay. Seasoned Pyromancer. That's very reasonable. Discard 2 cards, get 2 1/1s. And I think it's if you discard non-lands. Yeah. If you discard non-lands, you get 1/1s. But you draw 2 anyway. Double Pillage. See, this, you know someone means business when they register Pillage in their deck. Particularly in the main deck. This person is not messing about. Oh, Underworld Breach. Does that do anything for us? We could go Breach. Have we got a bolt in the bin? Yeah, we could double bolt our opponent. But that doesn't kill them. It could actually, if we can surveil a... what is it called? The 1 mana, deal 1, sacrifice a land. It's not Shard Volley, it's... shit, I can't remember what it's called, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go pay 2, Underworld Breach, trigger these. All we need to do is surveil one of them into the graveyard, and we have lethal here, assuming they don't have removal. Lava Dart, that's it. So what we want to do is put that into our graveyard, and then we can go, then this resolve, sorry. We pay 1, let's bauble again first. And we'll always yield to both. They're going to need a bolt or something here, or a path. Graveyard. Then we can go lightning bolt the opponent. Discard or remove 1, 2, 3 cards. Put these back on the stack. Surveil. Wait, what do we surveil? Oh, here's the surveil. We don't need that. We'll put that in the bin. We will bolt the opponent again. Getting rid of steam vents. Oh shit, we also need to keep delirium. So we need to keep a land, an artifact. We've got a creature, so we need to get rid of... Oh no, we can get rid of both of these lands because we're going to sack one anyway. And then... Soulscar Mage. Okay, that's fine. We might lose delirium for a second, but we can get it back. Let's see what's on top of their deck. We'll get some free information. Fury, okay. We might as well attack with both. And if this Dragon's Rage Channeler hits them, we just flash back Lava Dart, which I assume they've seen. Lava Dart, sacrifice a mountain, target the opponent, sacrifice this. Yeah, we'll keep that on top. Sweet, okay. On to sideboarding. What do we want to play against a deck that blows up our lands? Do we want Flusterstorm for that, or do we just not care enough? We probably do care if our opponent's blowing up lands, because we don't have many in the deck. It also can counter board wipes. Oh, but if they have Fury, then it's just terrible. Now, I think we just run it back. This is where Mutagenic Growth is going to be really, really important, because you can trigger a bunch of Prowesses and get all your dudes out of Fury damage range. So sometimes you'll see that someone won't just take, I don't know, say you've got 3 creatures in play, they might deal 2 to 2 of them instead of dealing like 2, 1, 1, because they know that if they get blown out by Mutagenic Growth. So even just having Mutagenic Growth in your deck makes it so that Fury is less powerful. So, for example, Soulscar Mage, oh, that's not a very good example. They all have 2 toughness, which doesn't make it as clear to see, but yeah. Sprite Dragon also is going to be really good in this matchup, I think, if we can keep it around this time. We could bring in Vapor Snag, but I don't think there's any reason to. What would it hit? It could hit a Fury, but if they get to Fury mana, then we're just done anyway, I think. You could also just bolt a Fury. Opponent is taking a while to sideboard. I don't know if they're just going to be looking up this deck to see what we might be boarding in, so they can figure out what they want. Because I think this deck could have a load of different cards in its sideboard. It would be nice if we had some enchantment hate for pesky enchantments, but other than that, there's not really much you need because you're just so linear. I think Unholy Heat is probably not what we want to be doing either. We've seen Seasoned Pyromancer, and if they're casting that, then they're going to make 2 chump blockers anyway. So we don't want to Unholy Heat that. And it doesn't kill a Fury unless we have Delirium. Well, well, well. We've got the 1 land hand against a land destruction deck. No, I think this is good enough to keep. We go turn 1 Swift Spear, we've got the Bauble. We are going to just Bauble straight away. We don't have any deck manipulation. So I'd rather just get the Prowess trigger, and we need to draw on our as soon as possible for it. So let's just go land, Swift Spear, and thank God we draw Gut Shot. So even if they answer this, we still have a way to activate Light Up the Stage for free. I'm just going to target our opponent and see what they've got on top. I can't. Sure. We're just going to attack for 2 here. There's no reason. We could just go completely all in and gut shot them and mutagenic growth our creature and get in for an extra, like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. But there's no reason to, like, blow your whole load at once, as it were. But cause you could draw another creature and all of a sudden these become much, much better. Now, just don't blow up our land, please. They're blowing up our land, aren't they? Would really appreciate it if they could just not blow up our mountain, because then we are just fucked, I think. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, thank God. So this one is destroy a land, its controller gets a land out of their deck, a basic land, and puts it into play, draw a card. However, you target an indestructible land, and now it is 2 mana Rampant Growth, draw a card, which is busted. So opponent's up to 3 lands, nice bit of mana ramp, but they replace the card as well, so that's huge. What we'd like to draw here is a land or a 1-drop. Okay, that's good enough. Should have used the Light Up Stage first there. Well, it's too late now. We'll get Steam Vents. I think what we're going to do is just gut shot our opponent and trigger this Light Up the Stage. Try and find some more dudes. We have until our next turn to cast them anyway. So I think we're just going to double up. Double iteration? Oh, that feels bad to waste it, but it's not the end of the world. We guarantee that we've got a land drop for next turn, which is good. But we would have liked another creature. Something with haste especially. What's our opponent going to do now? They've got access to 3 mana, so they could do timely reinforcements. So we're going to mutagenic growth our creature here, because then we'll be at 13 life. They don't gain the 6. They get some chump blockers, but they don't gain the 6 life because we've got the same amount of life. So yeah, you get 3 dudes for 3 mana. That's fine. They just played a Hordling Outburst. I guess it got rid of our mutagenic growth. Okay, so let's untap Steam Vents. Well, we're not playing that. We know we're not going to. So 1, 2, iteration. Trigger Swift Spear. We could have Manamorphosed there first, but I don't think we need to. Put one of them into your hand. I guess the bolt. Yeah. One of them on the bottom of your library. And exile 1. We'll then cast the, play the Arid Mesa. Again, we'd go get another Steam Vents here. And play Soulscar Mage. Do we offer our Swift Spear for 2 tokens? I think so. We're threatening to have another pump spell. So I think it's actually safer for them to just block once. Yeah. Because if we have any Phyrexian mana spell there, we'd take all 3 of their tokens, and that would just be... I think that'd be too much for them. And the fact that they didn't triple block shows us that they don't have a Wrath. If they had a Wrath, they would just chucked all 3 in front. You get a lot of tell from how your opponent blocks. Opponent pays 4 mana for a Karn. That's fine. It doesn't really do anything. So they're going to go get something at their sideboard. What is it going to be? A Dragon's Claw? I don't think they know yet. What else could there be? Things that we're scared of. Worm Coil Engine. Engineered Explosives. Yeah, that's really good for them. So if we bolt both of these, Manamorphose, that's 3 spells. These would be 4 power. We need to draw another couple of spells, really. Swift Spear is a great draw. Okay, so we'll just shock. Play the Swift Spear. Blue, red, Manamorphose. And then we're going to give ourselves 1 blue, 1 red. Hopefully hit something good here. Blue, red. Nothing. Okay. So now we just go bolt this. Our creatures are at enough power now where it's better to bolt their creatures and then hit our opponent. So now we can put our opponent to 1 and they have an Engineered Explosives. Oh, do we need to kill this Karn? Off the top, what wins? If we attack everything at them, any bolt wins. But we've already gone through 2. Our Gut Shot we can't draw. I don't really want to leave our opponent at 5. Also don't want to leave them with a Karn. So we attack them for 8, put them to 5. Oh, they're just so far away from dying if we put them to 5. No, we'll go all at the opponent. Then a Swift Spear off the top. A Sprite Dragon off the top. There's loads of things that we could draw. Okay, so they play another land. They're now up to 5. We're getting into like range of Fury and stuff here. Because if they want our Engineered Explosives, that's fine. But that does take their entire turn away. They can use Karn too. I don't think we're going to win very easily if we leave our opponent on 5 to kill their Karn. Because then we're not really leaving ourselves up to many ways to win. That's frustrating. But they had to do that over Engineered Explosives. which is a strange place to be at. So they can EE now, but they can't pay 2 to activate. So they played around us drawing another creature with haste. Oh no, yeah, it would have had to be a Sprite Dragon. If they had just done this for 1 and kept it up, they would die to a bolt off the top, whereas this plays around bolt. So really well played to our opponent there. They definitely didn't just do the obvious play of play E and pass. They might as well do something with Khan, even if it's tick up. I think they must have a good thing to -4 though. Also worth noting, because they've got a Khan in play, our baubles do not work. So just something to keep in mind. If we draw a bauble, doesn't do anything. Activated abilities can't be activated if it's an artifact, which bauble is. Okay, what are you going to get this time, opponent? One coil engine. Okay. Well, we need to beat our opponent, so let's draw an expressive iteration. That'd be a good draw here. A Darcy. That won't do it. So all of the opponent here. If they play the worm coil, they can't activate engineered explosives, which is worth noting here. So 1 on each is fine, and we are going to have to play the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Because if they play Worm Coil, I think we can't really beat it. So what we need to do is make them waste their turn by keeping up this. If we just like pass and they play a Worm Coil, what could we ever draw to beat that? Whereas at least this way, they're very, very heavily inclined just to keep up engineered explosives, because everything's a 1-drop. The Dragon's Rage Channeler can fly over. We could draw some series of cards that kill our opponent if they just... What? Day of Judgment? Sure. Our opponent is just playing like it's 2010 or something. And Timely Reinforcements, Day of Judgment, Engineered Explosives. E is still a great card, but this like this Flagstones card as well. Oh, what are they playing for 2 mana? Just another land destruction spell that's going to draw them a card. Yeah. Interesting that they're going for a mountain. That's very strange to me. And then they're going to tick up Khan on nothing. You got it. Okay, what do we need to draw here? Sprite Dragon, I think. Well, that's not entirely dead. Alright, well, we passed the turn here. Is there any ridiculous way that we can win? Like, it'd have to be some sort of draw spell into Sprite Dragon plus Mutagenic Growth plus something else, but there's just not enough cards to draw. It only takes 1 hit with that and we're basically dead. We're not literally dead, but... They tick up Khan on nothing, and they're just going to pass the turn back. Yep. Lava Dart does not do it, so let's go ahead and concede. Let's go to the next one. I think maybe we need Vapor Snag. Bounces... No, it just bounces Worm Coil. I don't think that's good enough. Shattering Spree we could bring in to blow up Engineered Explosives. but it's most of the time they're going to have the mana up to sack in response anyway, so I don't really like that. No, I think we just run it back. Just try and be quicker than our opponent. If we try to do things like keep Shattering Spree in our hand, and they don't draw Engineered Explosives, or they keep up the mana for it, it's just a dead card. I could see an argument for Vapor Snag. You won the die roll. Would you like to play first? Yes. Again, yes, we have a companion. Sure, we'll keep this. A Prismatic Ending would be pretty bad for us, but other than that, this hand is good. So let's just lead off by fetching a Steam Vents. You pretty much just have to keep fetch shocking if you know your opponent's got timely reinforcements. Opponent's not letting this resolve apparently. We're fortunate that we've got this iteration for turn 2 because otherwise we don't have a lot going on. Kraken for 1. There's no reason to double spell here. We need to play around Fury as well. We know that the opponent's got Fury because we've seen it with the Mishra's Bauble in game 1. And there's no way they board those out in this matchup. This is like a great matchup for it. Like if they cast a Fury, Mutagenic Growth just completely saves our Swift Spear, which is crazy. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep this alive. If you could leave our creatures alone, that'd be great. Sweet. Turn 2. I guess we just Spire, Bluff, and Expressive Iteration. We could just wait until next turn, but then we're just doing nothing, and I really don't want to be doing that. Okay, sweet. So we want the Sprite Dragon, so we'll put that into our hand, and one to the bottom of your library, one in exile. So we'll get him for 2 here, and then next turn we can play the Sprite Dragon and then get in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage potentially. Yeah, we've got loads of damage ready now. See what our opponent wants to do on turn 2. I think the fact that they had a Bolt in hand might have possibly given them more of a reason to keep their hand. So if they thought, oh yeah, the first Bolt will kill one of their dudes, and as soon as that goes sideways, that could throw them off quite a bit. Chalice of the Void. That's pretty good. Oh, that was wrong. I should have waited. There was no reason to do that. Sprite Dragon gets the counters anyway, and it triggers Prowess. So that was a misplay, but that's okay. It's only a small one. Wow. Say it's a small one. It could be a... We'll have to see how it works out. We're just going to go ahead and fetch straight away. As I said, we're going to keep fetch shocking. I do not want to get our opponent to gain life from timely reinforcements, as we want to reduce the chances that they can do it. Red, blue, the other way around. Play Sprite Dragon. Let's go attack with both. Bolt U does nothing, but it gives us counters. So we're getting for a nice bit of damage here. So they're still on 10, which is quite a lot, obviously, but we've got a Sprite Dragon in the air. So things aren't too bad. I think the Chalice I was not expecting. Don't know why. Probably, I don't know. It's the kind of thing I'd expect them to have in their board for a Karn board, but not in the main deck. Okay, so they play a Pathway. There's still a land off Day of Judgment. Fury doesn't kill both of our guys, but it's pretty close. Yeah, so they're just going to kill the Sprite Dragon here. They exiled 6-drop Chandra. Okay. So just kill the Sprite Dragon here. Yeah. As always, we are going to want to draw Expressive Iteration next turn. Oh, they got some more removal. Like Stomp would be annoying. Ending. Okay, sure. So ending on the stack, I guess, gets around Chalice. This game is over, I think. Chalice the Void was just too much for us to get through. Shattering Spree wouldn't have worked anyway because it gets countered. Opponent is playing it tapped, sure. And Season Pyromancer. What is our opponent's deck? Elspeth, Chandra at 6 mana. Our opponent is having a great time. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and concede. I guess we're not dead. Alright, we'll keep playing, but it's pretty much over. It always just feels like a waste just to concede when, I mean, like there are certain scenarios where we could win. If our opponent just has absolutely nothing and we draw a Sprite Dragon, then we could feasibly win. It's very, very unlikely, but it's still possible. If they hardcast a Fury or something, obviously it's over. Hearse, sure. So we're just passing the turn, or yielding till end of turn. Our opponent gets 2 dudes. They attack us for 3. So this is where you get screwed over for fetch and shocking all the time to play around. Oh, does that help? No, we're a land short. So no, there's nothing we can do. We're just dead.